Okay. I was trying to go live, and apparently there was an audio issue, and I think what happened is my sound automatically went to Bluetooth to my stereo, which doesn't have a mic. So, I think I got that issue fixed. Everyone should be able to hear me now, I hope. But if not, let me know. I'll try to figure out what's going on. But I think I got the issue fixed. So we'll just wait for everyone to rejoin. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. Let's see, I'm going to wait for a few people to get on here. I think the audio should be working now. If you guys could let me know in the comments if you can hear me good. Ow, that was my elbow. All right, looks like we got 2 people back in, so. Okay, it's working now, good. So I think what happened is my phone automatically switched to Bluetooth, and I didn't realize that it had connected to, like, there's like a car stereo system hooked up in my trailer that like puts speakers through my ceiling, but it doesn't have a mic, so I didn't realize that my phone had automatically switched to Bluetooth, so it was sending that to the stereo instead of actually picking it up on my phone. So it should be good now. What I was saying is I'm finishing up a tree pendant that I started the other day. Let's see which way I want it to go. Probably that way. It's a piece of, well, you can't see, there we go. Rainbow, it's labradorite with the rainbow flash. It's got greens, gold, pink, purple, blue, all different colors in it. And I've already built the body of the tree. I just need to connect the stone and then separate the branches and organize the branches, but that's what I'm working on right now. It's not going to take me that long to finish, so I'll probably make something else afterwards, but that's what I'm going to finish right now. So, let's see. I just have to figure out which way I want the stone to sit, which side. I have to like hold it up in the lighting to see which way shows the best flash, because with labradorite, not every side works as the top because the light hits it in different angles and the color flash works on different sides. So you kind of have to like rotate it around and kind of figure out, okay, that's where I want the top to be. So that's what I'm doing now. Which it looks like it's going to be like this, because that's showing the most color play. So that's how I'm going to do it. Hey guys, looks like we got a bunch of people in here now. Yeah, I think the beeping that people were hearing is me trying to push buttons to figure out why the sound wasn't working. But that's just because I didn't know it had gone to Bluetooth. But now I figured it out, so it's all good. Hey everyone, got a bunch of people joining. I'm not always good at like reading all the comments as I work, so if I miss a question or if I miss a comment, it's not usually on purpose. Usually. Unless people say stupid things, then sometimes I just don't acknowledge this. But as you can see, there's Roxy chilling on the couch. Alrighty. So basically what I'm doing, I've already built the frame, and I've already attached all the wires, and I've already built the tree itself. As you can see the little piece of gold in the middle. Now I just have to reattach those same wires back on the top half of the frame, and then separate all the branches, and that's going to create the top of the tree. I see one person saying my volume's low. If you guys could like comment and let me know if the volume's okay. I have everything turned up. I'm not sure what else I can do. I think maybe it might be on some other people's ends. Maybe turn their volume up, maybe. Because I have everything turned up on mine. Okay, volume's good. Okay, good. Hey, Justin. So the trickiest part when attaching these top ones is always getting the first ones to start in the top, because the stone's wanting to shift around and slide. So that's the trickiest part with finishing these, is just getting those first branches attached. Once the first couple are attached, it kind of like equalizes and the stone kind of settles in, but it's just getting everything centered to start off with. It can be a little finicky. Justin, howdy ho! Don't get me started on the South Park impersonations. It gets bad sometimes. All right. I'm trying to get more in the habit. I've been processing orders and stuff, but I've kind of let my Etsy shop kind of fall through the cracks a little bit as far as like being consistent with new listings. So I'm trying to get back in the rhythm of like getting up early in the morning so that I can do like a listing first thing in the morning before I go dredging. It works out really well when I do that kind of rhythm, but sometimes if I fall off the wagon, sometimes it's hard for me to get back into that rhythm. So I'm trying to get back into it where wake up, make my coffee, get a listing out of the way, and then I go dredge all day. So I haven't really added a lot of new listings on Etsy lately. I did add one today, so it's a start. But I'm trying to work on my consistency with my listings. I do really well at it during the winter when I'm not mining, but during mining season, it just becomes a lot, especially like mining full time and then doing the YouTube videos, and also I'm making all the jewelry, so I'm only one person. So every once in a while I kind of slack on that. Just, yeah, keeping it up in the summer can be difficult. So I've got the first little branch attached. You probably can't see it too well. Oh, there we go. First little branch is attached. That's just our starting point to get this piece finished. And I take my cutters. What do I do with my cutters? There they are. Gosh. Alright. So I got the first one attached. And what I try to do when I'm doing these trees, like, it's supposed to look organic, so every single branch doesn't have to mirror on the other side. But I do try to rotate sides. Like, I'll do one cluster on one side, and then I'll do that same cluster on the other side, just to keep the tension on the stone even. Not necessarily to make the branches look identical, but just to keep the tension on the stone even. That way I don't have a stone that's tighter on one side than the other, and then it ends up looking lopsided. So now that I have one on that side, I'm going to do one on this side. Yeah, I stay pretty busy. Plus, you know, I got pets, so I take care of my pets. And all the maintenance on my dredges and everything. Let's see here. I want that one to go right here. I've been fighting some allergies. I don't normally get allergies, but for some reason this season has just kind of kicked my butt over the last week. I wanted to do a live stream like a week ago when I was finishing up some bear claws that I had started on the last live feed, but I was so snotty and stuffy, there was no way I wanted to be on camera, so I just did it off camera. Let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of new people. I didn't say hi to everyone, but sorry. It's hard to work and read. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, 3 jobs keeps the money coming in. Mining is hit and miss. Yeah, mining, it's definitely not a guarantee. It's kind of like gambling is what I like to compare it to. You know, some days you do really well, sometimes you don't. But I think that's part of what keeps it exciting, because unlike a regular job where you work X amount of hours, you know exactly how much you're going to make on your paycheck. With mining, like, there's always that thrill of like wondering what you're going to find that day, and I really think that's part of what keeps it interesting for me. Keeps it from getting mundane. Is just that wonder, and like always just like not knowing, just that unknown gives it kind of a mysterious factor, which I like. But it still works out pretty good. The jewelry helps fill in the gaps. Plus, I just like doing jewelry. Let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of Alaskan Assassin Adventures. Hey. Justin, life-changing gold. Yeah. That's a phrase you'll never hear me say in my videos. So now I have 3 branches at the top attached. And once I attach them, then I come in with my pliers and I'll like make little bends and kinks in them just to make them look more organic, so they're not just like straight sticks and all uniform. I like them to be individual and have their own character. I think it gives more life to the tree. Doesn't look so boring and predictable. Let's see. Gold prices are staying up. Yeah, gold prices are staying pretty good. I haven't checked it today, but I've been working on other jewelry stuff today. Also prepping my new dredge. It's getting its maiden voyage tomorrow. So that new dredge I just bought about a week or so ago is finally getting in the water tomorrow. Justin, it's always hilarious to hear life-changing gold, or that, you know, I have everything invested and I'm gonna lose it all, even though I make thousands of dollars per episode to make a TV show. Oh. AAA, thank you. So I just, within the last like week, got to where I can do like, what are they called on YouTube? Supers, I think. It's like stars on Facebook or something. Supers and like super chats or something like that. I'm still learning the whole thing, so I think I'm like 400 hours away from hitting my 4,000 watch hours mark, so then I can do ad stuff, I guess. I'm still figuring everything out, so. But thank you for sending that. That's my first one. Yeah, I was really surprised. I did a video about the avalanche that like ripped through my claim. Actually, there's three huge avalanches that ripped through my claim, so that's why like I waited just a little bit to get this new dredge in the water, because we were having some major like dam ups and like flash floods and stuff like that. So I was just waiting for things to just chill out a little bit, because I really don't want to put thousands of dollars in the creek and then have a flood like rip it away from nicely. They're still there, but there's enough room now and enough has melted out. Even if some fall, there's room for that water to flow, so it's not going to completely dim it up anymore. So that's part of the reason why it's taken me so long to get that dredge in the water. I've been doing some other sampling and prospecting in the meantime. I just didn't record it. Oh, Justin, you sent one? Oh, maybe I just didn't see it, but thank you. I was probably looking down at my jewelry, and I probably didn't see it, but thank you for sending it. So anyways, that video I did on the avalanche, it's funny because, like, sometimes you'll do a video and you'll be like, oh, this one's going to be my best video yet, and then sometimes you do, like, a just on-the-fly, spur-of-the-moment video, which is what the avalanche one was. Like, I was just exploring upstream and then saw that giant avalanche, and so I was like, what the heck, I'm just going to record the process, and I didn't even have a pan with me. Like, I was just taking my dog for a run on the four-wheeler and looking upstream, and found that and saw that whole creek channel got washed out and created a whole new channel. So I came back to camp and got my metal detector and got my pan, and I found a tiny bit, just a few specks, but I didn't do like super extensive sampling. But like I said, it was just kind of a spur of the moment type of thing. And I was really surprised that that was actually my best performing video, and it wasn't like edited. All I did was take raw clips, put it together, and just showed like what I found, and that ended up being like my best video. It's funny how that works out. But I'm going to try to get some footage recorded tomorrow. I might wait a few days just to get some footage stockpiled before I actually release a video, but get some footage of the new dredge running. Alright, so now you can see I'm starting to get some of these branches up top connected. AAA. Oh, you joined my, what's it called, membership thing? You're my first member that I know of, unless someone else joined and I just didn't see it. Alright. Now I'm getting this other branch once I get this one attached, oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. Once I get this and 2 more attached on this side, then I work on the cluster on the other side just to keep that tension even. Let's see. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, or the day before, I can't remember. One of the days, I was working on some jewelry, day before yesterday. Working on some jewelry, and I'm in a travel trailer, so it's pretty small. Like my table area in the kitchen is where I'm sitting right now. That's where I work on my jewelry. And I have my kitchen window like just 3 or 4 feet that way. I just look up and there's like a moose 10 feet outside my window, just chilling. We got new people in here. Hey guys. Justin, you're going south. Do some prospecting. You're gonna rent a van. Oh, that'll be fun. I'm probably not doing any sort of traveling until sometime in the winter. I usually try to wait till after Christmas to travel, because with my Etsy shop and running, you know, my jewelry and pay dirt and doing that online business side, it's hard for me to do anything in late November to early December because that's like Christmas shopping season, so I get a lot of orders then. But I usually try to take a trip somewhere like in January or February. I try to space it out perfectly to where I'm done mining for the fall season, I'm done with the holiday shopping season, but it's early enough that I can go somewhere and not be pressed for time to start early spring mining. So it's like I found like mid to late January into like early to mid February is kind of like that sweet spot. I get a lot of invites, you know, to go mining elsewhere, like in California or, you know, somewhere in the lower 48 during the summer, but I always have to explain to people, like, I don't go anywhere during the summer because that's my mining season, and I have a really hard time going anywhere when I could be mining. Hey, Kelly. What's the largest nugget I've found? Nothing too huge, but I have a couple that are around like the 1/3 of an ounce mark. So, you know, they're good size, like pretty good size, but not like giant. But I haven't decided if I do take a trip this winter. The hard part of leaving is like I always have to find somebody to watch my animals. That's the hardest part of traveling, is just making sure I have pet sitters and stuff. And my dog's really finicky, so there's only very limited people who can actually watch my dog because she doesn't do well with strangers. But eventually, I don't know if I'll make it this year or not, but eventually I'd like to take a trip back to North Carolina, because I haven't been back since I moved away. It's been over 5 years. But I have a lot of good mineral digging spots out there, and a lot of friends out there that I haven't seen since I left. Everyone thought I was crazy when I left. So when I moved to Alaska, I had never even been here. I just kind of decided, like around Thanksgiving time, like end of November, and then in the end of March, so 4 months later, I left. I just saved up as much money as I could and sold everything that I possibly could in 4 months, and then just left. So all my friends and people I worked with, they all thought I was insane. But turns out it was one of the best decisions I could have made. Let's see. AAA, Rockhound, finally filmed videos on the channel. Nice. Justin, Elizabeth wants to go to North Carolina. Yeah, there's some cool stuff in North Carolina. I mean, there's gold there too. North Carolina was the #1 gold producing state before the California gold rush. So before everyone headed west to California, that was the hot spot. Addicts for Blood, what am I working on? So I'm working on a Tree of Life pendant on a piece of labradorite. See if I can get that color flash. There we go. Maybe. So it's a little piece of gold, like a gold picker. It's going to be inside the tree. I started this piece the other day. I'm just finishing it now. AAA Rockhound. Oh, you got hurt. Dang. How'd you get hurt? Yeah, it's hard for me to decide if I go to North Carolina. I always love going to the desert. I used to live in Nevada and California, so like I have a soft spot for the desert too. And Arizona. The thing I love about the desert is like you can wander around and you can actually see all the rocks. Whereas like you're to North Carolina and everything is covered in vegetation. So like you really have to hunt. Not that you don't have to hunt in the desert too, but things are just more exposed and you can read the geology a little bit better. Hit a piece of concrete and it hit a nerve. Oh, that doesn't sound fun. Alright, so I'm getting the branches attached. I almost have the top half finished. Got one more to do right here on that cluster. And then I'll work back on this side and then go back over here. Then do the bottom on that side and then the bottom on this side, just to keep everything even so I don't get lopsided. But Roxy's passed out. Let's see, I know I missed a bunch of comments, so I can't go all the way back because then I lose my spot on what I'm doing. But yeah, tomorrow is the maiden voyage of my new dredge. It's been a long time since I've had a brand new dredge. The only dredge I've ever owned that was like brand new was my very, very first one. But it was just a small little backpack dredge. Everything else I bought used. So it's been a long time since I've had a brand new dredge. So I'm looking forward to not dealing with someone else's problems. Because whenever you buy anything used, it seems like trucks, four-wheelers, dredges, anything, mechanical or that has a motor or an engine, at some point or another, you're always dealing with someone else's problems. So now, hopefully, there will be zero problems. Although I haven't had too many problems with my other dredges because I am fairly good about maintenance and stuff. But I'm excited to use something brand new. Alright. So, after I finish this tree, which isn't going to take me that long, I have some stones picked out. And I'm going to let you guys pick which stone I make my next piece of jewelry with. Farrell, tell us about your trailer. Are you talking about my travel trailer? Let's see. I'm assuming you're asking about the travel trailer. So half the year I live in a travel trailer, which is what I'm in now, and I live completely off grid. So I hooked up my own water system for washing and washing dishes and things like that. I used a bilge pump on a battery and ran 250 feet of garden hose down to my trailer with a water filter on the end of it. And the cool thing about that is because it's slightly downhill, is that once I got the bilge pump going and got the line primed, I can actually disconnect it from the battery and turn it off because then it's gravity fed. So I only have to use the pump the very first time I turn it on at the beginning of the season. The rest of the time, it's gravity fed, so it feeds water by itself as long as I don't let it get unprimed by taking it out of the water. So that's one thing I did just to make sure I had like running water to do my dishes and shower and whatnot. I gutted the hot water heater in here because it was one of those old school like 6-gallon water tanks that you have to heat up the whole tank, and then once you run out of hot water, like it just goes to cold. So you got a short shower with those. I ripped that out and I put one of those like tankless on-demand heaters. So now as long as I have a water source feeding my reserve tank into the camper, like I could take like an endless shower as long as I have water coming in. So that's one thing I did to upgrade it. And then I've been using a gas Honda generator as my power source, and I have Starlink, which is why I'm actually able to be on here right now, because I am out in the boonies and I don't have any signal here. But Starlink allows me to still run my online business, so I still get orders and I can still work on Etsy, I can still post on Facebook, things like that, because I have Starlink. Upgraded my power system, so I not only have a gas generator, but now I have one of those battery, like power station, like solar generators, with a 400-watt solar panel. So now it's a lot quieter because I don't have to run a gas generator all the time. And when it's sunny, I mean, even when it's overcast, I still get a trickle charge from the solar panels, but when it's sunny, it definitely charges better. But even if I don't get enough solar power to charge the battery fully, I only have to turn my generator on, depending on how low my battery gets, for maybe an hour or so. I think if it's at like 1%, it takes like an hour and a half to charge from 1 to 100. So it does pretty good. And it can power everything in my camper, my laptop, any kind of lights that I use,